This is Florian with Florian's weather coverage. Today we will be talking about a storm that will be potentially impacting a lot of the US with severe weather, flooding, and also lots and lots of snow. We will also be talking about New York City's, Boston's weather, and Florida's weather at the end of the video, followed by a climate outlook for the next 30 days at the very end. So let's get started right here. This is the current hazard. So these are the watches, warnings, and advisories issued by the National Weather Service. As you can see, we do have some winter storm warnings, I believe, up here. Yeah, winter weather advisories up here, probably for some blowing light snow. Then down here we have a red flag warning. That is for some fire weather, so high winds and low moisture. Then we do have some flooding over here, isolated flooding around rivers. And we do have a little bit over here. I believe this is a winter storm watch for some snow, possibly, that we will be talking about with this system right here. First, before we get started about this large storm, we should be talking about the reflectivity. So this is basically what the radar could look like going into the future. You've got the time and date right here in Eastern time. It'll always be right here in Eastern time. So that was 3 hours over here, 1 hour behind here, and that is the time for this area of the country. So we will starting, as we know, there's going to be an atmospheric river with lots of rain over California. And then you see this kind of swirly thing, like right down here. That is what is going to set up our next system. That is an upper level energy. Then we also have this snow right here. I believe this is what the winter weather advisory is for. And then we will talk about this towards the end, but we do have a little clipper that will come down here tonight into tomorrow morning. Could drop a little bit of snow, most likely north of Boston and New York City. It has shifted more north. As we're getting through, we kind of start to see around Saturday, early morning, we start to see a lot of just widespread snow. We have had a lot of great weather in this area right here. Warm, not quite very warm, but pretty warm for this time of year. And this will all get interrupted as this low pressure system will be moving this way. So let's get right into it. This is the North American model. It is mid-range guidance. It does not show the entire storm. It only goes out to this frame. But as you can see, the vast majority of snow will actually be in Canada. It will impact Canada with snow, freezing rain, and sleet. In the future, in like a few months, we may start talking about Canada, but for now, I'm just focusing on the US. It will get some rain and severe weather, especially in this area. In this area, that will most likely happen Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And if we look here, this is basically the Canadian version of this model. So basically just another model guidance. It's always good to look at more than one model. And as you can see, it almost looks the exact same. The North American model does have a little less precipitation in general, but we will have to see which one comes true. Then let's go into the long range model now. So this is the Euro model. This is a very reliable model, and a lot of people use it for forecasting. And basically what's happening here, this is where we're going to break down the storm. So what's happening here is you have this low pressure system that moves in. As you see, there was some type of swirl here, so it's energy in the upper atmosphere. Actually, I will show you that right now. So this is what energy looks like in the atmosphere. As you can see, 1 second please, right here. You've got this blue thing that moves through. This is basically, it's very hard to explain, but just think of between the blue and the red is where storms can develop. So in this area right here is where storms can develop. As you can see, this moves in, and it kind of just, it creates a storm, and then it kind of fades out, really blows up here again, really gets, you can see right here, really blows up here again, drops a lot of snow. And if we go back to the what the precipitation looks like, you can see it just goes off, brings a lot of rain that will get followed by another system to this area. I think you will have some extreme flash flooding over there. It'll be unavoidable. It'll really be a lot of flash flooding there. And as you go in here into the Canadian model, so this is basically the long range model by the Canadian Weather Service. As you can see, it is the same fundamentals. There's nothing really different. Low pressure system forms right here, does a bit of a swirl right over here, then kind of dissipates and really gains back together right up here, and then goes north like this, bringing rain, bringing snow, bringing a little bit of everything, severe weather, as you can see. And then the GFS model, which is the American Weather Service model, it is usually less, it's not as good as the other models. It does have its like problems that are usually bigger than the other models. Same thing. We've got this swirl right here. This moves in, so there's not a lot of disagreement. Some models have a little more northerly snow, but I think places with winter weather will be this area right here. Anywhere up here, New York City and Boston, just plain old rain, and that's severe weather threat. We'll be looking at snow totals here. So this is snow totals. As you can see from the Euro model, you've got snow totals ranging from 15, 16, maybe even into the low 20 inches. Completely dissipates here, maybe even an inch, then really gets started up here getting into Canada. So I think the main axis of precipitation of snow will be right here. If you look at the Canadian model, the difference between the two, the Canadian is a little more north and it does have some snow in between. So if you live in this area, really pulling for the Canadian model, as you can see, the Canadian has a little less snow, but much more widespread snow. I do think the Canadian model is more likely to happen than the Euro, but I could be wrong. This is just my opinion, my educated opinion on what the weather models are saying. And if you look here, we'll get into the severe weather threat, which I think, could be a little bigger than what people are actually talking about with this, what's happening right now. I think that there is a chance for some severe weather. So this right here is basically lightning flashes. The darker the color, the more lightning flashes there are. So as you can see, Saturday around 4 p.m., I'd say around 1 p.m. is when the lightning really starts going. I do look at lightning because it gives you a better understanding of where the storms are. You can see it's more of a line formation, which usually means less supercells, but it means more damaging winds, which is not always good to hear. And then as you can see right here, I think there's going to be axis of where the most severe storms are is going to be right here. As you can see, we've got this purple here that indicates over 1,000 strikes of lightning could be happening in this area here, which is really a lot. And that means that there are definitely going to be some severe storms. And now the thing that we're really watching here is if this turns into a supercell situation, we could have some extreme tornadoes down here, a real severe weather outbreak. Now, I don't think it's late enough into the year until like May that we have to worry about extreme severe weather, but I do think that this could be bigger than what some people are really talking about. As you can see here, this is something called the K index. It basically shows you the likelihood of a thunderstorm forming. As you can see up here, we have some increased K index over here. So there may be some thunderstorms here. It doesn't mean there's going to be thunderstorms here. It means that with the right moisture, there will be thunderstorms. Now what I'm really looking at is over here, you have this widespread K index. Now the problem with having widespread K index is that it's more likely that supercells could form, and that's when stuff gets really, really dangerous. If you look over here at the CAPE, so this is convective available potential energy, you usually need to get, like, big thunderstorms, you need above 1,000. To get extreme thunderstorms, you should get above 2,000. As you can see right here, you have just around 1,000. Any big change in this CAPE could change the entire, how severe it is. It could change anything. But these global models, they don't usually pick up on the CAPE, so I do think we could reach 1,500 CAPE, which would cause some severe storms up here. But what I'm really looking at is down here. As you can see, there's a lot of CAPE flying around everywhere. And with the right K index and the right upper and low level winds, we could be looking at some pretty severe weather down here. Then I just want to show you guys one more thing before we move on, which is the vorticity. This is, the atmospheric energy, and I think it's really important to look at. I don't know why I didn't have this up, but it's really important to look at this with storms. So as you can see, this is our energy right here. This is a lot of energy, and this is what we like to call bowling balls. It will move through, and as you can see, as our first bowling ball moves out, this is a sneak peek into the future. Our second bowling ball moves through, followed by a third bowling ball, followed by possibly even a fourth bowling ball. And I do think getting out into the future, we could have the potential for another big storm to move up the East Coast and either drop lots of rain or snow. I'm not going to talk about that now because we're too far into the future, but some of the climate long range models are showing that possibility. And then as we get into the Northeast, I'm going to talk about now is there's two models I'm going to show you here. First is the HRRR model. It shows no precipitation besides rain in New York. It shows Boston getting no precipitation, no snow, no anything. And even if Boston were to get some precipitation, I think it would most likely fall as rain here, sadly. Then we can also look at the temperature. Let's check what the temperature is going to be. So tonight it's going to be relatively warm for New York City, around freezing for Boston. And then going into tomorrow, you see right here tomorrow morning, I think this is going to be pretty cold. And if we check the NAM 3 km model, which is another model that we use, Friday morning, it is going to be chilly, extremely chilly. If we check this is the wind chill, Boston, you could see a 0 wind chill Friday morning. This is going to be really, really cold. New York City, a 10 wind chill. That is extremely cold. And then with this model, I'll also show you what the radar is showing for this storm. It does show a little more precipitation, but sadly, I think Boston is going to get rain, and so is New York. You're going to see a lot more widespread snow into the upstate of New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. I think you guys could see a lot of snow. And next we'll be talking about Florida. I paused on this frame right here because if you see right here, you have this storm that is forming, this thunderstorm. Now, I think it could be a shower, it could be a thunderstorm. It's hard to know. Even if it is a thunderstorm, it does strike a little bit of lightning. I don't think it'll be anything severe. Just wanted to mention that. We'll look at the temperature. Like said this morning, temperatures, there's really not going to be anything abnormal about these temperatures. You could maybe see some cooler temperatures tonight, but really not under 70, so not much to talk about there. Now we'll be transferring over to the long range forecasting. So, out out to a month. So for 6 to 10 days, we'll start here, below average temperature. So that means troughing. So basically the jet stream is going to look more or less like this. It's going to go down in the western parts and then go up in the eastern parts, causing higher temperatures, especially in Florida. I think 6 to 10 days out, you guys could be really, really warm. Precipitation is going to be, widespread above average beside California and Texas. You guys are in a terrible drought right now. I'll actually show you guys right now. There's a widespread terrible drought everywhere in the U.S., and I don't think that's going to get better anytime soon. Now looking to 8 to 10. 8 to 10 days out. This is where we start to get some clues here. As you can see, this troughing, which was earlier over here, has now moved to here. So the trough now sets up right over New York and Boston. Obviously, that doesn't really mean much, but as the trough moves even more to the side, you could see the potential for some, for like the jet stream troughing, you could see the potential for some storms to happen over here, above average precipitation, almost in the same exact places. Now, 3 to 4 weeks out, this is, this could happen. I think between the end of 14 days, beginning of 3 weeks is when we could see the jet stream go like this and then quickly move into neutral. So this is basically where not much happens. And if you check the 1 month outlook, you have the month. So for March, it's kind of liking the idea of some troughing here, ridging here, and extreme precipitation here. If we look at the model, what the models are saying for March right here, so the models are saying extremely above average precipitation here, normal to a little below average precipitation here. New York City, Boston, above average precipitation. Over here, lots below average, and over here, lots above average. Kind of, this is not really irregular besides this above average precipitation, where we could see plenty of flooding. And then the last thing I want to show you guys is temperatures for the months of March. As you can see, that kind of supports the idea that we have some jet stream troughing here, and maybe a tiny bit over here, just just below average for Boston, New York City, but really below average over here, and temperatures near to above, slightly above normal for Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, and Virginia, and just not a lot going on for these areas. Just extreme rain up here, extreme drought over here, lots of rain, severe weather, and snow, and for the Northeast, pretty frigid temperatures in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support. If you like this video, please give it a like. Comment down below anything I can do to make this better. And I would so much appreciate a subscribe from you guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. And stay tuned for a video update, hopefully every single day.